After the piranha incident gets her expelled, a certain sharp-tongued teenager is shipped to Nevermore Academy, an outcast school with a body count. Soon, a monster begins hunting people near town, leaving clues as twisted as the forest paths it haunts. And a prophecy warns she might be the spark that ruins it all, with every ally hiding the chance to become an enemy. This is the complete story and recap of Netflix's supernatural mystery, Wednesday. Episode 1. Wednesday's child is full of woe. A high school pool, heavy with chlorine. Wednesday Addams walks in, calm and sure. She finds her brother, Pugsley, stuffed in a locker, tied and gagged. She frees him and asks for names. A flash hits her. A vision. The swim team boys cut to the pool. The boys cut the lanes like they own the water. Wednesday sets 2 duffel bags on the deck. She gives them a warning dressed as truth. The only person who gets to torture my brother is me. Zippers open, piranhas hit the pool. Screams, blood blooms, sirens, expelled. Morticia and Gomez move fast. Nevermore Academy will take her, a school for outcasts. Fangs, furs, stoners, scales. They drive to Jericho with a last chaperone in the trunk. Thing, the severed hand, drops to the road and follows. At the gate, Principal Larissa Weems smiles. She drops Morticia's name, says old roommate, and walks Wednesday to her room. Inside, Enid Sinclair is mid-sentence. A werewolf who cannot fully wolf out yet. She offers hugs and playlists. Wednesday gives her the same energy she gives the living. None. Enid's tour is quick. Clicks here, legends there. Bianca Barkley rules the quad with siren calm. Her ex is Xavier Thorpe, an artist whose drawings crawl off the page. Enid runs a vlog and loves drama. Wednesday sits at the cello. Therapy is not optional. Court order, Dr. Valerie Kimbott greets her in soft colours. Wednesday answers in hard ones and calls her visions noise that will not stop. She asks to use the bathroom, pops a window and vanishes. Jericho smells like coffee. In the weather vane, the espresso machine hisses. Tyler Galpin fights it. Wednesday taps a valve, tightens a screw and wins a ride to the station in return. Pilgrim kids swagger in and aim jokes at the new girl. Tyler steps forward, but he is late. Wednesday drops one bully with clean timing. The sheriff arrives on the wave of it. Donovan Galpin. He hears her last name and his jaw sets. Gomez Addams belongs in a cell, he says. He will be watching. Weems finds Wednesday and her wayward field trip. The ride back cuts past a fresh crash. A fruit stand worker lies still, head turned wrong. Wednesday says what she saw in the vision. He broke his neck. Back at school, fencing. Bianca toys with a boy, then looks for sport. Wednesday steps onto the strip. First point lands for her. Bianca smiles and returns fire. Tied, masks off. First blood. Bianca draws a neat red line across Wednesday's forehead. Match over. On the way out, a stone gargoyle rips free above the arch. Shadow falls. Xavier lunges and shoves Wednesday clear. She wakes in the infirmary, Rowan at her side, with a thanks for standing up to Bianca. On her second wake, Xavier sits close and calls back a memory. He once hid in a casket. She hit the stop switch and saved him. Night in the dorm, a scent she knows. Wednesday turns down the blanket and finds a stowaway. Thing. Busted. She gives him terms. Be loyal or live in a box. He taps a quick apology. Jericho hosts a harvest fair. All cider and fake smiles. Wednesday wants out. Enid runs cover. Tyler meets her by the lot and offers help. They move through booths and lights. Wednesday wins a giant panda with darts and slides it to a kid as payment for silence. Fingers brush. The vision hits like ice and Rowan is dying in the trees. Wednesday cuts away from the fair and hunts him through the woods. She finds him and warns him. He laughs, eyes wild. He lifts her with his mind and pins her to a trunk. Out comes a torn page from a purple book. A blonde girl who looks like Wednesday. A pilgrim's dress. A school in flames. His mother drew it. He calls it prophecy and says Wednesday must die. Air crushes her lungs. Then the monster bursts from the dark. Teeth, claws, a grin of pain. The Hyde tears Rowan apart and vanishes into black pines. The night is too quiet. Blood soaks leaves. Wednesday stands alone with the page stuck to her palm. Cops flood the woods. Nobody, no blood. Sheriff Galpin folds his arms and calls it a story. Weems urges silence. Wednesday goes back to her room and starts a case wall with names and threads. That night, Morticia calls by Crystal. Wednesday says the line she hates to say. Mother, you were right. I might love it here. Morning pretends nothing happened. The sheriff crosses the quad with Rowan at his side. Alive, calm, smiling like nothing ever happened. But Rowan returning from the dead? That's just the first secret this school is hiding. Episode 2. Woe is the loneliest number. Principal Weems moves through Nevermore like a queen who never needs to raise her voice. She smiles at Wednesday as if measuring a knife. Shapeshifter, headmistress, storm in pearls. Wednesday files it as both a threat and a tool. Therapy is part of the deal. Weems drops her off at Dr. Valerie Kimbot's office. The doctor speaks softly and asks about feelings. Wednesday answers with edges. The visions are the problem, she says. They hit without warning. Past, present, future. Kimbot asks for triggers. Love, hate, fear, joy. Anything human, Wednesday says. I avoid all four. Posters go up for the poke-up. Enid vibrates around the dorm. Her black cats might finally beat Bianca's sirens. Then a vampire eats garlic bread and breaks out. Out. Enid needs a teammate. Wednesday watches Bianca glide past and decides, I am in. The case does not sleep. Wednesday spreads the torn page on her desk and tilts it toward the light. A watermark appears. A tiny crest in the fibres. It points her to the courtyard, to the stone po. The base hides riddles. Wednesday answers like she wrote them. Pansy, 2, willow, ice. Last line, snap twice. She does. Stone grinds. A hidden stair opens. The tunnel tastes like dust. At the end sits a library under the school. Masks on hooks, the nightshades, a secret club with its own rules. Wednesday walks the aisles, reads titles, touches nothing. Favours are chains, she tells herself. She leaves the way she came. Rowan is a splinter she cannot ignore. She slips into his room while Xavier showers. The floor smells like bleach. Under the bed, she finds a half mask, twin to the ones below. Knuckles on the door. Xavier answers. Bianca's voice drifts in. Jealousy. Old wounds. Wednesday lies still until the door clicks. Then she is gone. Thing earns his keep with a tail job. He follows Rowan from school to the station, fingers on a bumper. The boy ducks into the bathroom with a bag. Minutes later, an older man strolls out with the same shoes, the same bag, the wrong face. Thing clings through town until the man slips into an alley and melts into someone else. Weems steps out in his place. Shapeshifter confirmed. Cover-up confirmed. Rowan is not coming back. Race day. 4 boats take the lake. Rules are rumours. Bianca's sirens hum a note that curls under the waves. A merman surges up and flips a boat. Enid rows while Wednesday scans for movement. Thing launches off the prow with a net and bags the merman. Cheers hit like gunfire. Teams run ashore at Crackstone's crypt, grab the flag, sprint back, survive. Wednesday touches the flag and the world tilts. A blonde girl who mirrors her face. A black book at her chest. A whisper in her ear. You are the key. The image breaks. She runs. On the lake, another crew goes under. Bianca swings to cut them off, song pouring like oil. Wednesday answers with wood and will. She rams. The sirens snap an oar and spin. For the first time in years, Bianca loses. It snaps Bianca's long winning streak in front of everyone today, loudly. Applause is only noise. Wednesday slides to the statue, snaps twice, and drops into the dark again. This time she opens drawers, not doors. Photos, one picture stops her. Morticia and Gomez in masks. Nightshades' emblem above them. Her parents were part of this place in ways they never said. A sack drops over her head. Rope bites her wrists. When the hood comes off, she sits in a chair ringed by masks. Bianca asks who broke their sanctum. Wednesday tells the path like a recipe. Watermark, statue, riddle, snap. She does not charm, she waits. Masks come off. Xavier, Bianca, and others she half knows. Xavier wants her in. Safety in numbers, he says. You fit here more than you think. Bianca calls her a storm with legs. Wednesday says storms travel alone. Membership is debt. Debt is leverage. She prefers knives to contracts. They cut the ropes. She shows how she's already slipped the knot. Amateurs. Before she leaves, a side shelf calls. A purple book sits behind a false back, stamped with the same crest as the watermark. The paper matches Rowan's torn page. Inside, sketches and notes in a seer's hand. She slides it into her bag and closes the shelf. Outside, cameras pop as Enid lifts the cup. Under the statue, Wednesday holds the photo and the book Rowan died to find. Weems wore Rowan's face. The nightshades read in secret. The water here runs dark. A clock chimes. Every shadow looks awake. And while the nightshades celebrate, Wednesday just uncovered a secret that's about to make Jericho burn. Episode 3, Friend or Woe. Outreach Day hits like a roll call for free labour. Buses hiss. Clipboards snap, and Nevermore kids spill into Jericho in borrowed smiles. Wednesday and Eugene draw Pilgrim World, where the waxy grin of Mistress Arlene never melts. She guides them past dioramas of holy men and pure hearts, praising Crackstone like a saint. Protector, saviour. Wednesday tastes the word and calls it sugar over rot. She asks to see the meeting house. Closed, Arlene chirps, as if truth keeps business hours. So Wednesday mans the fudge stand and studies the map on the wall. One photo hooks her. A blonde girl, a black book, eyes that mirror her own visions. The nearby case holds a purple copy. She flips it open. Blank. A fake dressed up as history. Tourists drift close with soft shoes and softer questions. Wednesday switches tongues and gives them the story that the brochures do not. Land stolen, witches hunted, bones buried under fresh paint. She points at the fudge and calls it a lie you can eat, Arlene gasps. The crowd scatters. Eugene pockets a square. The mayor's son and his friends swagger in on cue. They shove Eugene toward the stocks for a photo. Wednesday twists a wrist, locks the bully in, and leaves him there to squint at his moral lesson. Eugene breathes again and whispers epic. Back on campus, Weems signs her up for cello at the statue reveal. Fleetwood Mac only. Wednesday nods and sharpens her rosin. She practices in the empty hall, notes echo. After dark, Thing drags a gas can to Crackstone's fountain and tucks it where the flames will look dramatic. One spark waits. The plaza fills with donors and speeches under lights. The tarp drops, the new bronze Crackstone beams. Wednesday lifts the bow and lets the first note cut clean. Thing flicks the lighter. A bloom of fire curls around the saint's metal face. Gasps, screams, phones up. Wednesday keeps playing, hair calm in the heat, a smile on her mouth. The night sours for someone else too. A homeless man near the old meeting house loads his camera for one big shot. He hears a growl, turns, and catches it on film. A jaw split with too many teeth, claws like knives. He runs, but the woods are faster. By morning, he is a torn puzzle on the ground. The sheriff zips the bag and pockets the camera. Jericho drama does not spare the dorms. Ajax preps for a date with Enid, towels the mirror like a pro, blinks, and forgets. One glance and he stones himself solid. Enid waits in the greenhouse until the song in her chest goes quiet. Later, she drags a fingertip down a car door. In their room, Wednesday makes space on the wall for a larger case. Photos, names, times. A beast sketched in hard lines. Motive unknown sits at the centre like a dare. Classes tick on. In art, Xavier inks a spider and it crawls off the page as if the paper breathes. Botany is a boxing ring with leaves. Thornhill smiles while carnivores creak open. Bianca and Wednesday trade right answers like jabs. Invasive species, light share, root wars. At the station, the sheriff runs the film and goes cold. The thing in the frame is too clear to ignore. He locks the negatives away. On his lunch stop at the cafe, he mentions the fire was arson. Wednesday lets him vent. Night means labs. The morgue lights hum. Thing gums a camera and scuttles aside. Drawers whisper. Wednesday lifts the sheet on the homeless man. The wounds read like a rule. Clean, chosen. A missing foot. Another case file is a missing kidney. Another finger. Another gallbladder. Someone is saving parts like toys. Footsteps roll closer. She slides into a drawer and shuts her breath down. The sheriff and coroner work through the checklist. They hold up a foot with 2 toes gone, sore marks bright. The coroner jokes about cruisers. When they leave, Thing tugs the drawer. Wednesday spills into cold air and snaps a photo of the report. Back in the dorm, she pins it all. Victims in a grid, organs in a list, a map with lines between the campus, ruins and the road. Pattern, not chaos. The beast is not free. Someone points it out, it kills, and someone collects. She writes one sentence in the corner. There is a human behind the monster. At the station, the developed photos hang while the sheriff stares. Eyes, claws. He whispers that he knows that look and does not finish the thought. In her room, the cello line loops. The town hates her more tonight. Hate digs up the truth faster than love. And while the mayor praises Crackstone's statue, Nevermore students prepare for the Raven Dance, but the monster has other plans. Episode 4, Whoa What a Night. Raven's talk fills the halls. The dance is in the air. Wednesday saves her breath. She wants a suspect and a lab result, not a slow spin under lights. She climbs to Xavier's studio and knocks once. He opens, paint on his hands. Canvases crowd the room, claws and eyes frozen mid-snarl. She asks him to go to the Raven. He blinks like a truce is on the table. For her, it is a cover. If he talks, she listens. If he slips, she is close enough to see it. At the station, the sheriff is done with stories. He taps his pen and says what he wants. Bring me something that bleeds. Wednesday nods and leaves. Eugene meets her by the hives with a headlamp. They hike to the cave from the photo. Inside, damp air tastes like rust. Iron shackles hang from stone. Scrape marks rake the wall. A room for change, not a nest. In a crack, a broken claw glints. She bags it. Eugene notes time and place like a junior tech. Cold finds them outside. Wednesday decides to push the lab angle. DNA gambit, match the claw to someone at school. To do that, she needs a sample. Back to the studio. Xavier's gone. The door complains. Turpentine goes to the room. In a bucket sits a rag, stiff with dried blood, beside a sketch of the monster. She bags the rag and snaps the lid. Footsteps on the stairs. Xavier walks in and stops. He looks at her, then the bag. What are you doing? Homework, she says. He reminds her he once saved her life. She says the monster did too. The cut lands. He points at the door. Get out. The sheriff looks up when she lays the claw and the rag on his desk. Run them. He asks where she found them. Run them first. He tags both and sends them out. He can smell the weight of blood. Back on campus, the gym glows like a candy box. Banners hang, lights spin, speakers hum. The Raven is here tonight. The hand is 10 steps ahead already. It types an invite to Tyler and drops it in a tip jar. Meet me at the dance. It also steals the black dress from a window and folds it under Wednesday's bed. When Tyler knocks, Wednesday expects Eugene. She opens the door and stops. Tyler stands with a small box. The dress waits on the chair, a gift from a thief with taste. She puts it on. Black silk, clean lines. She looks like a storm that learned to walk. They arrive late. Heads turn. Enid clutches Lucas. Bianca watches Xavier watch Wednesday. Ms. Thornhill smiles at the punch. The song starts slow, then kicks hard. Wednesday moves like the music is a blade only she can hold. Arms snap, shoulders cut, toes map a grid. The room forgets to talk. Phones come up. At the edge, Xavier tries small talk with Bianca. It dies fast. Old Hurt sits between them. He says he's fine. He is not. They dance because standing still makes the ache louder. Outside, a tanker rolls in. Jericho boys snake a hose into the pipes. Inside, sprinklers cough to life and dump red paint from the ceiling. It floods the floor and coats gowns and suits. Screams, laughter, slips. Wednesday taps a drop to her tongue and frowns. Paint, not blood. A vision hits like a fist. Eugene, woods, flame in the cave. He is running. The thing is faster. She bolts from the floor. Tyler calls after her and loses her in the hall. Branches whip her face as she runs. Heat presses close. The cave burns. Eugene's voice cracks in the smoke. She pushes through the scrub and sees him fall. The hide hits him hard and tears claws across his chest. It turns once, then vanishes into black trees. Wednesday drops to her knees. His glasses lie in ash, his blood soaks the leaves. She yells for help and presses both hands to the wounds. Stay with me. Stay. Blue lights paint the trees as sirens rise. Ms. Thornhill appears breathless. She pulls off her coat and helps press bandages. The sheriff crashes through the brush and calls a unit. They lift Eugene and carry him toward the path. His hand slips from Wednesday's sleeve. At the edge of the trees, the sheriff looks at Wednesday and then at the blood. He wants to say, I told you. He does not. The ambulance doors slam. The lights fade toward town. She walks back alone with smoke in her hair. The dress is ruined. The night is done. She writes one line on the board in heavy ink. I should have been there tonight. The Raven dance ends in blood, and now the Addams family reunion crashes into Nevermore with a police escort. Episode 5, You Reap What You Woe. Parents' Weekend opens with rain and rehearsed smiles. Black umbrellas dot the path while families pose. Morticia and Gomez glide from the car. Pugsley drags a tackle box. Lurch carries the luggage. Principal Weems meets them at the stairs. Smile firm, suit sharper. Old roommates, old history, politeness with edges. Compliments arrive like velvet knives. Wednesday watches and files each cut. In the office, Morticia turns to a yearbook and finds her photo missing. Weems's smile does not move. Across the quad, parents swarm. Enid's mother lifts a checklist like a warrant. Conversion camp pamphlets bloom. Enid says no. On a bench, Bianca waits alone until her mother appears with a morning song bracelet and a script. Bianca keeps her face still. Wednesday stays close to Morticia and asks for facts. The old case file drops with dust and a story the town prefers. Garrett Gate, a Raven dance, a sword, an arrest. Back then, Mayor Walker wore the badge and wrote the ending. The picture plays, lanterns, music. A boy falls from the rafters. Garrett cracks the floor. Young Gomez holds a blade, panic in his eyes. Young Weems screams. Young Morticia watches as officers rush through the hall. Walker takes notes, cuffs Gomez and calls it done. Now again. Gomez laughs and fixes his mustache. Accident, he says. Wednesday hears air in the story and leans in. Therapy is a detour. Dr. Kimbot smiles at the Addams family. Pugsley misses his sister. Gomez beams. Wednesday lays down photos, not feelings. Weems ends the session. At the cafe, Sheriff Golpe answers a call. The coroner is gone by his own hand, and his note says he doctored the Garrett report. The sheriff drives to Nevermore and arrests Gomez in front of his parents, in plain sight. The past opens like a trapdoor. Wednesday stands at the bars. Gomez says Garrett came at him with a sword. He says Garrett stalked Morticia and would not stop. He says he took the heat so she would not burn. The wink is brave. The eyes are tired. Morticia gives the missing piece. She filed complaints. No one cared. The Gates name weighed more than fear. At the dance, Garrett foamed, pupils blown. She raised the sword. He lunged. Gomez stepped in and took the blame. The symptoms line up in Wednesday's head. Nightshade poison, she wants proof that breathes outside stories. So mother and daughter dig up the truth. Night air, wet dirt. A coffin that moans, a hand stained blue under the nails. Wednesday twists off a finger and drops it in a jar. A deputy catches them before the lid cools. Grave tampering makes a tidy photo. Holding cells turn into a date. Morticia and Gomez flirt through bars while Wednesday studies the bone. Skin to bone and the vision hits. Garrett in a mirror, shaking. His father presses a vial into his palm and names the plan. Nightshade in the punch, kill Nevermore. In the fight, the vial bursts in his pocket and soaks him. Foam, rage collapse. They carry the jar to Mayor Walker. Wednesday lays the chain on his desk, link by link. The confession, the signs, the grudge. Morticia adds a look that could move a city council. Walker clears Gomez. The sheriff delivers an apology. Gomez takes it with grace. Back at school, Morticia explains the gift. Psychics fall on a line. She is a dove. Her visions bend toward light. Wednesday is a raven. Hers fly low and do not flinch. To use them, she will need a guide who shares their blood. The name is Goody. Night drops and writes a warning on the lawn. Fire will rain. Students pull back the doors. Weems keeps her voice level. The school shrinks. In the room, Morticia passes a yearbook she lifted from Weems' shelves. Wednesday flips to talent night. Weems as Judy Garland smiles. The face reads like a mask worn for years. Another piece clicks. She returns the book and speaks the trick. Shape-shifting. Rowan walked into the station because Weems wore his face. Weems calls it mercy. Rowan had lost control and tried to kill Wednesday. His father chose silence and a bus ticket. Wednesday says truth still counts. Back in the dorm, Wednesday draws the curtains and builds a circle. Candles, salt, a lock of hair. She calls for Goody Addams and keeps her breath slow. The flames shiver and hold. The room stays empty. No ancestor answers. Thing signs bedtime with a sigh. Wednesday pinches out each flame and watches the smoke unspool. Goody is the key, still far. The hive hums outside the glass. Rain ticks. Somewhere, a hall clock counts the seconds she owes. Wednesday sits with the quiet and waits for morning to blink first. But with the mayor down and a Hyde on the loose, the town's about to get even bloodier. Episode 6, Quid Pro Woe. Thing spills a surprise to the wrong people, and a crowd squeezes into the crypt with candles. While music bounces off the stone, Wednesday studies the altar. Latin carved in the slab reads like a threat. Fire will rain when I rise. The same words burned across Nevermore's lawn. She touches the script and the room falls away. Iron bars. Another time. Cold air presses against her skin. Goody stands before her, calm as a headstone. Crackstone is not finished, she says. He will return, and the town will bleed if no one stops him. She points toward a gated house that lives in death and memory. Wednesday asks for a map. Goody gives only a warning. The path is hard and ends alone. The vision breaks. The party keeps yelling. Wednesday blows out nothing and walks into the night. Across town, Mayor Walker chases one more thread. Files across his desk. Laurel Gates was marked as drowned. No body recovered. A deed signed by a fake old woman and a younger caregiver. A tip about the lights at the mansion. He grabs his keys, steps off the curb, and a blue Cadillac throws him into the street. Sirens answer. At the hospital, he slides into a coma, and Jericho forgets how to breathe. Wednesday invites Enid to a girls' night and calls Tyler for a ride. Enid brings a knit snood and hope. Tyler shows up. Wednesday wants entry, not romance. They climb the hill to the house. Inside, the dust is wrong. Fresh flowers by a neat bed. The garage holds a blue Cadillac. A room glows like a church to Crackstone. Candles are still warm on the floor. Wednesday opens a locket. LG Laurel Gates. A music box waits beside it. She pockets the box. Tyler shouts from the hall. Something huge moves. Claws rake, and he folds with a cry. Blood spreads across his shirt. The creature charges once, then slides back into the maze like it knows every wall. Wednesday and Enid drag him to the car. Xavier steps from the trees and helps lift Tyler into the seat. They drive. Sheriff Galpin meets them at home, angry and afraid. He sees the wounds and sends the girls away. Wednesday drags him back to prove the shrine is real. They push through rooms wiped clean. No flowers, no locket, no Cadillac. The basement looks untouched. His face ices over. He bans Wednesday from his house and from his son. At school, Weems calls Wednesday to her office. Privilege is gone, town visits cancelled. Enid packs, she is done. She says Wednesday uses people and calls it logic. Friends are not tools. She moves into Yoko's room. Silence makes the walls louder. Wednesday sits at her desk and writes nothing. The hospital hums in low light. Walker lies under plastic lines. A figure slips in. A hand finds a plug and pulls. The beeping slows, stretches thin, and stops. Footsteps fade down the hall. Morning brings a headline. The town has no mayor. Back in the dorm, Wednesday opens the music box. The tune is thin. A false bottom lifts. Photos slide onto the blanket. Every shot is of her. In the window, in the quad. Crossing to the cafe. Dates in a neat hand. Weeks of watching. Some angles look down from the school. Others from the benches. The last is from the crypt. She draws a map in her head. Cupola. Choir room. Greenhouse roof. Likely perches. She keeps one photo and walks to the greenhouse. Ms. Thornhill waters orchids in bright red boots and smiles with gentle teeth. Wednesday notes the colour and keeps moving. Xavier brings a sketch of a gate that stalks his sleep. The bars match Wednesday's vision. He wants to help. She does not invite him in. He leaves the page on her desk. The sheriff sits by his son's bed and watches Tyler sleep with a stitched chest. He blames Nevermore. He does not know his boy bleeds for someone else. Wednesday searches the ruins and follows boot prints until rain smears them smooth. The cave refuses to be found. It stings. She writes a shorter list. Hyde, Master, Laurel, Crackstone. Late, she returns to the crypt. The banner still hangs. The candles are gone. She sets the music box on the altar and turns the key once. Notes echo. She tells the empty air she's listening. Then she locks the box and lets sleep come. Morning brings police cars to the gate. Phones appear. Weems says the right things. Wednesday slides the photos into a folder and hides it under the mattress. She looks at Enid's empty bed and looks away. Thing pats her sleeve and retreats under the blanket. Wednesday lets him stay. And with the mayor dead, Laurel Gates isn't hiding anymore. Episode 7, If You Don't Woe Me By Now. Morning, and a grin steps out of the trees. Uncle Fester, all ozone and trouble. He hugs Wednesday like a crime he missed, raids Eugene's hive for honey, and studies the monster photo. One nod. Hyde, he says, like naming a pet. Classic jaw, blank eyes. Bad news that likes to smile. A label's not proof. Fester remembers a book. Nathaniel Faulkner kept field notes on the worst things in the woods. If they survived, they live in the Nightshade's vault behind Iggy's portrait. Thing flexes like a locksmith waiting for purpose. Fester grins and calls it a family outing, the kind with better locks. Past curfew, they slip through the stacks with one lamp. Wednesday lifts the portrait, finds a dial. Thing listens to the lock and clicks them inside. A leather diary waits. Cracked spine, dust, and ink. The cover bears Faulkner's mark, a careful hand that knew fear. They read on the dorm floor, Hides do not wake alone. Someone turns the key with chemicals, or a voice that walks behind the eyes. Then the bond holds. Obey, protect, kill. Some Hides make art with bent minds. A therapist could unlock one, a teacher, anyone who knows how to push. The pages list cases, symptoms, and sketches of eyes that never look away. Wednesday circles one name. Dr. Valerie Kimbott, hypnosis, close to Tyler, close to Xavier, always near a break. The idea hardens. She hides the diary and steps out. When she returns, the room is wrecked. Drawers inside out, pages ripped. The diary is gone, and Thing was pinned to the desk by a knife through his palm, still as a photograph. She runs him to the shed. Fester clears a table and plants glowing hands on the wound. Sparks leap. Come on, little man. Thing shudders, then snaps awake and signs a curse. Wednesday's voice goes tight. If you die, I will kill you. He points to the door. He did not see who struck. Rage sits in Wednesday's throat, hot and new, and does not move. Weems keeps an office of rules and glass. Wednesday says the word, Hyde. Weems blinks. History says Hides were banned after a killing. Faulkner died studying one. Bring evidence that stands after sunrise, Weems says. Wednesday says start with Kimbott. Weems does not promise. Her face stays smooth, unreadable. A clock ticks too loudly, in that silence. So she knocks on Kimbott's door, tea and soft colours. Wednesday lays her chain on the table, Hyde on film. Bodies missing parts, shackles in a cave, patients who broke, Rowan, Xavier, Tyler, hypnosis notes, a blue vial. The pattern looks like a leash. Kinbot calls it delusion and reaches for her pen. She can ask a judge to hold Wednesday for observation. The talk ends. Wednesday leaves with a list that feels sharper. Minutes later, the sheriff finds Kinbot on her carpet. Blood spread wide, window blown, claw marks on the wall. No witness, only a body, and a clock that says Wednesday was close but not there. Back at school, Xavier steps out for air. Deputies wait in his studio with boxes. They lift a trunk lid and pull out nails for a coffin. Rowan's inhaler, Eugene's glasses. Photos of Wednesday from the bushes. A dirty knife. He says planted. The sheriff cuffs him anyway. Wednesday watches and does not look away. Enid swings into the dorm, angry, then sees Thing bandaged. Who did that? Hyde, Wednesday says. Who is Hyde? Wednesday holds the name like a blade and keeps it for 1 more hour. That night, the weather vane glows. Tyler wipes the counter and tries to be soft. Is the band still on? Wednesday says she came to be clear. She kisses him to test a theory, and the world tilts. Heat. Cold. A vision like lightning. She is back in the office. Dr. Kinbot is on the floor. The Hyde folds into a boy with blood to his elbows. Tyler smiling like a wolf at an open door. Air returns. Tyler asks what is wrong. Wednesday says she is fine and walks into the night with her jaw set. At 2, she faces Xavier's cell window. Bars and glass. You are not the Hyde, she says. He listens because he cannot leave. The Hyde is Tyler. He calls her poison and turns away. She takes it and goes. Fester packs at dawn. He kisses Thing and pockets Honey. Hyde's never move alone, he says. Find the hand that turned the key. Then he slips away. Wednesday sits with the board and prints one more label. Confirmed, Tyler is the Hyde. The master is still a blank, silent and closed, waiting in the next room. Closer than she likes, and Laurel Gates is about to open that door. Episode 8, A Murder of Woes. Wednesday decides talk is done, then leads Tyler into the woods and chains him to a chair. The nightshades hover until the tray of tools scrapes. Bianca cracks. Yoko follows. They run for Weems. Wednesday stays and tells Tyler the truth she sees. He denies, pleads and smiles, all in one breath. She says pain makes Hyde speak. Footsteps burst through the brush. Deputies break the circle and drag her out. At the station, Weems signs her away. Expelled. Wednesday keeps her eyes on Tyler. He asks for a word alone and lets the mask fall. Every kill felt like a spark, he says. I loved the fear. When the sheriff steps back in, Tyler turns soft again. The order stands. She leaves tomorrow. Weems will not meet her eyes. The sheriff will not meet the past. Tyler watches through the glass, and only she catches the smile in the reflection. Small and proud, like a scar he refuses to hide. She does her rounds like a soldier. Bianca, keep the nightshades ready. At the cell, she faces Xavier. I was wrong. Tyler framed you, and I helped him do it. He turns his face to the wall. In the infirmary, a beep sounds. Eugene wakes and remembers the cave fire. A black coat, red boots. Wednesday files the colour. Only one teacher walks the grounds in those. Greenhouse light turns leaves to glass. Miss Thornhill trims white oleander and smiles. Wednesday lays the case down. Laurel Gates never drowned. She took a new name, took a job here, and used a Hyde to hunt. The mayor got close and died. Thornhill listens, then drops the smile. She calls for Tyler. He enters and becomes Weems in a blink. The real Weems orders an arrest. Thornhill lifts a needle. Nightshade poison turns Weems blue. The body hits the tile. The shovel finds Wednesday's skull. Stone, cold, and a blood moon. Crackstone's crypt, chains on her wrists. Laurel sets bones in a pattern and slices Wednesday's palm. Blood fills a sign cut in the floor. Stone splits. Joseph Crackstone rises in his pilgrim coat. He calls her Goody and drives a blade into her stomach. She falls. He strides to the school. Laurel follows with a gun. Goody kneels beside her in the red light. Use the talisman. Let me cross. There will be a price. Wednesday nods. Goody takes the wound and the pain. The skin seals. Goody fades. Wednesday stands and runs. On the lawn, the moon finds Enid. Heat climbs her spine. Bones crack, claws rip free. Her first howl rolls over the roofs. In the trees, Tyler hears and answers. Hyde meets a wolf. The ground shakes. The sheriff tracks the signal and fires. The Hyde turns on him with teeth. Enid slams into the beast and drags it away. She takes hits and keeps going. At last, the Hyde tumbles into a ditch and crawls off. Crackstone walks Nevermore's halls, burning doors and banners. Students run under Bianca's orders. Sirens pull them to the gates. Xavier loses an arrow on the quad. Crackstone lifts a hand and sends it back. Wednesday steps in front and takes the shaft in her shoulder. She pulls it free and pushes Xavier toward cover. His staff pins her. Bianca slips in and sticks his back. He whirls. Wednesday swings. Her sword snaps on the staff. A shard lands in her palm. Goody's last words echo. Black heart. She drives the shard into his chest. Fire climbs him from the inside. He falls into ashes. Rings clink on stone. Laurel raises a gun. A hum grows. Eugene steps from the crowd and his bees spill like smoke. The cloud covers Laurel's face and hands. She screams and fires blind. Wednesday walks through the wings, knocks the gun away and puts her down. The field stills. Enid stumbles from the trees, human again, pale and shaking. She sees Wednesday alive and runs. Wednesday meets her and holds on. The moon moves. Later, the halls echo. Xavier finds her with a suitcase. He says he is sorry for the cell and for the words they threw. He hands her a box. Inside is a phone with his number waiting. Try texting, he says. Lurch loads the trunk. Classes are cancelled. Nevermore has no head. They roll past the broken gates. Wednesday's new phone buzzes. An unknown number sends 4 photos. All of her, shot from a distance. The last text says someone is watching. She studies the trees and pockets the device. Far down the highway, an armoured van hums. Tyler sits in chains with his eyes shut. His fingers twitch, his jaw begins to change. The men up front do not see it yet. The night is long. If you survive this recap without being mauled by a Hyde or cursed by a pilgrim ghost, congratulations. You're one of us now. Hit that subscribe button before the piranhas find you, and drop your favourite dark moment in the comments.